The great Canadian philosopher Devin Townsend once noted that love is a way of feeling less alone. But what if your love is done alone? What if you love someone who, because they are extremely famous or fictional, may not, I'm not going to say never, I would never deny you that dream, end up in an actual relationship with you? Well, today we're going to talk about 3 Japanese words that you can use to describe that kind of semi-one-directional feeling. The first is ryako, which is a shortening of riaru, right? That's real, ni, which turns it into an adverb, koishiteru, or to love. So when you really love someone. However, this isn't used when you actually really love someone like a partner, etc., but rather to show that your love for your idol, your oshi, your bias, or the thing you like in a game, in a media product, whatever, is not just generic love of some random fan, but real love of a fan that goes beyond the norm. For instance, this person uses the phrase to justify their expenditures as a concert. They're not doing it because they have made bad financial decisions, they are doing it because this is ryako. And while that example is ryako dedicated to someone who is alive, here you can see examples of people doing ryako for someone who is a fictional character. It's not stopping them from loving them in a riaru ni way, with the verb used to show their affection. And yes, I did my due diligence and I searched online for ryako in combination of words like danna-san or tsuma or even karashi, boyfriend, kanojo, etc. And there wasn't really there. Some hits came up, but they were never actual hits that said, I ryako my partner. Most of them are examples like this, where someone talks about how they need to hide their ryako from the person they're in an actual relationship with. The term has been in use for some time. There are hits going back to 2010 on Twitter, but actually I don't think these are the right hits because, believe it or not, from 2010 to 2013, it seems like every single hit for ryako is a shortening of a cafe called Re-Acoustic. I'm serious on this. It was a thing, at least for the people that went there. But in 2014, I can find absolute uses of people using ryako in the way that we're talking about, such as the picture I'm looking at where someone notes which member of the group is the one that they love really. This finding of mine matches with Google Trends quite well. As you can see, the spike starts to go up in 2015, and their data is always a little bit late. And I'm delighted to announce, this is something that I ryako, that ryako can be verbed not only by suru, which is expected, but also by ryakoru. Indeed, I can find conjugations. You can find people that ryakoranai, as in these examples here. The bottom one knowing that they have ryako for a type of person that they normally ryakoranai. And I even find the potential negative, as in ryakorenai, as you can see in this example here, where somebody self-depreciatingly notes that they are unable to ryako this person because they don't have the self-esteem, basically. Even in their fantasies, they can't imagine being in a relationship with them. I believe in you, though. Ryakore. And this is basically a synonym for our second word, which is gachikoi. Gachi is just like a way of saying like extremely, super. It's been transformed in other terms when I talked about gacha, homako de. That was that comes from this gachi. Surprisingly, gachikoi has a very similar trend chart to ryako, but unlike ryako, I can find clear uses going back to 2009, so I believe this one is a bit older. Still, it has the same general meaning. You don't use it for someone you're in a relationship with, use it for people that you like, idols, etc. But unlike ryako, it does seem to have the verb being via suru only. I couldn't really find many gacha koirus, which makes sense because that doesn't sound very good. Finally, this all links to the third and I guess most recent one, which is daishiteru. This is a combination of daisuki and aishiteru, which I daishiteru, that's great. Note that the spelling here with the iru shortened just to ru is actually kind of like the predominant one. Yeah, I can find examples of daishiteru with the iru, but if you look up guides online, all the guides online actually, they list it without the e as like the official spelling. Indeed, this is the spelling it was given when it was listed as one of the top buzzwords of 2017 among gyaru. There are 2 big differences to daishiteru to the others, and the first is I'd say I'd see this one more used for things that are not human at all, and therefore are not like oshikatsu, etc. People use it just when they like something, like this cup, how a polar bear moves its arms in a video, or again, my use of daishiteru to talk about how much I like the combination daishiteru. But daishiteru is still often used as part of oshikatsu, as you can see in these examples. The second big difference in daishiteru is that you can actually daishiteru your friends. Just like ryako and gachikoi, I could not find any uses of daishiteru to refer to romantic partners, and I actually only could find one use at all on Twitter that involved daishiteru and tomodachi, which you're looking at now. But in pretty much every analysis of daishiteru online that I could find, they talk about tomodachi daishiteru, or like getting something from your friends like minna daishiteru as a common use, and I'm going to trust them over the search engine of a dying website run by a maniac. I don't know about you, but I believe that the websites that dedicate themselves to discussing the language of young Japanese people know more about the language of young Japanese people than I do just from doing Twitter searches. As far as how long this word's existed, I have no useful Google Trends data, but I can find hits going back to 2008. Uses really explode on Twitter in 2010, and then obviously got awarded in 2017, so I think that was kind of the big boom. Interestingly though, the daishiteru variant with the longer iru, the first hits for that are actually later. They come out in 2010. So I think honestly the teru version is the original. It's kind of the first, which is a little surprising in my opinion, but cool to see. Anyway, that's about it. These are short phrases, but they're easy to understand and they're kind of fun to use. And it's always nice for a short video. I certainly daishiteru them.